Okay, how's everybody doing? So we've got Sun Ingen. My IPS has done videos. Number 1 and 2 are up on this channel. Number 3 is coming within an hour. Well, if you think you've exposed him, then well, maybe that's kind of gonna help people kind of see what he's up to. I don't know. I mean, I say, I have my suspicions and stuff, but I don't really like to talk about it really. Because to me it kind of causes drama and division. I think people should just use their own discernment. But what can I say? Anyway, Jovian Edwards, you said you wanted to come on. I'll link you up then if you want to come and join. So I'll send it to you. There you go. You should have the link if you want to come on. The Flat Earth Underground channel. How are you doing? Maggie M. How are you doing? So you're all doing well. I was up a bit of a run earlier, just kind of keeping active really. I think we should all kind of do some exercise maybe and just kind of be active and just kind of, just do that sort of stuff really. Because obviously the elites and what have you, they want us to be, they want us to be basically just robots and just kind of basically useless apart from what they need us to be used for, I would say. That's basically what it is. They just want to use us as cattle and sheep, and that's it really. They don't want to empower us. They don't want to make us feel like, kind of motivated. We have to kind of find it within ourselves to kind of, we need to find that spark within ourselves to kind of get us to kind of basically do something that we want to do. Otherwise we're just going to be, sat on our asses just watching the world go by, and that's the last thing we want to be doing. We want to actually be making the most of the life that we've been given, and even if it is just an accident, which I really doubt that, we just got to make the most of it because it's very special. And when you get old and you regret it if you haven't accomplished things in your life, and you're on your deathbed or whatever, and you're thinking about how you never accomplished anything in life. But you shouldn't be kind of comparing yourselves to others either. That's another thing that the others do, because the others compete with each other or compete against each other instead of cooperate with each other. I think a bit of healthy competition now and again, when you're just kind of playing games with each other, that's fun, and that's kind of okay, as long as there's no kind of intent on trying to step on someone else's toes, because when you're obviously in business, you get like, dog eat dog sort of thing, and obviously but I mean, a bit of just a bit of fun now and again, like playing games and stuff, but everything in moderation I think is good for you. I think that's what it is. That's why I've not been really doing this many of these live broadcasts, because I was doing them nearly every day and for many hours each day, and I was like, it was draining me. It was kind of, I weren't looking forward to doing it so much after a while, and I was like, anyway, we got a guest out. How's it going, Jovian?
All right, mate. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, yeah.
In Blackburn.
It's not bad, but obviously everyone's just kind of zombies.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's just, I wouldn't really kind of, I think round here, I mean, I wouldn't probably just go up to someone randomly and just ask them what they think about the shape of the Earth and how they can prove it's a ball and all that. I don't know if I could really do that round here, because, I mean, maybe I could if, there was a group of us maybe then, but just to kind of do it on my own, kind of going up to someone and just kind of asking them like stuff like, why they believe in the globe Earth and stuff. I suppose it's about the kind of approach maybe, but I suppose there's other ways you can do it. I mean, obviously some people will go out and put stickers out and stuff and try and get people to research it. But I think if everyone that's in this could actually take part in something like that, just something little, then it shouldn't take too long for us to reach, critical mass.
I know what you mean, but it's one of them. I know exactly what you're saying, Jamie. It's one of them where you can't literally go out on the streets around in this area in the northwest of England. You can't approach someone and start saying, "Oh, what do you think the shape of the Earth is?" They're gonna either hit you or sort of, you've got to sort of approach them in the way that everyone else does. You watch these videos in America where they're like approaching people and so they're authentic in intent, which is great. It was Joshua Swift.
But I don't really, if I'm being totally honest, agree with the way he's doing it.
No, I mean, yeah, he does. He does do it abruptly.
Yeah, that's it. He just kind of
Definitely.
he just kind of lays the facts out there, but instead of kind of warming people up to it, like what Dell does, where he just warm people up to it, and even obviously John Smith, he does that as well. And and I think that's better, and you're going to get better results, because even though it might take longer to kind of stand or sit around with somebody just kind of talking about it, it's better for it to take longer and to actually get some results than to just kind of
research.
You would have it out to 100 people and not even get one of them to kind of start kind of scratching their head,
Yeah. Did you watch the video he put on yesterday? I think it was, or today it might have been. I watched one today he put on. It might have been yesterday's Minnesota World State or Minnesota State Fair, and he walked around that place, and he got a few that were like, "Yep, flat Earth," and then he got a few that were like, "No, you're absolutely ridiculous." He got ridiculed, and he says to people, "Yeah, I get ridiculed all the time." He's used to it, but that's his approach. That's his abruptness of how he approaches people. In England, you can't. In the UK, or you cannot do that. Not approach people like that in certain places within the UK. Definitely not.
Yeah, that's true.
Have you ever tried it, Jamie? Have you ever tried?
I wouldn't try that. No, I mean that would probably be the last thing you'd want to do, because, like you said, people are just gonna have that knee-jerk reaction to it because instant like ridicule, because they have this kind of image in their head that, obviously, if you're thinking that someone thinks that it's might not be like a globe, then they assume, you're a flat earther and all that, and you have these beliefs that there's an edge and all that. And it's seeming to be flat as like, kind of terms of like, the water and how that behaves, and and obviously the experiments that people have done seem to prove it to be flat, to some degree, like in a kind of local sense. But we can never know for sure what the entirety is. But the people attach us with straw men, like there being an edge, which is like, to me, kind of proves that we're kind of on the right thing here, because we wouldn't be getting stuff attached to us that that we don't claim. To me, that's obvious. Kind of like they're trying to kind of
cover up.
Yeah, it's to make us look like some stupid religious cult. That's what it is.
Yeah, and I don't know if you follow Jake Gibson, Flat Earth Asshole. Jake Gibson plays the bass.
Yeah, I saw that thing that they did live at a bar somewhere, and they did this pretty cool bass stuff. I was like, it's like these globe earthers and all that, these globe trolls and what have you. I mean, I don't really want to call them trolls, but that's just calling a spade, really. But they won't actually go out and actually do any of this stuff. They're just like repeating the same old crap. That's all they can do. It's kind of a shame, really, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I keep watching. Obviously, every day I'm always on. Every day I'm on YouTube, Jamie, and every day I'm trying to look for new videos. And you do get new video updates. It always seems to be the same people. They're always putting the same videos on, and they're always talking about the same thing. And there's no more that you can actually say to these roundies, globers, whatever you want to call them. There is no proof of a globe.
So, I mean, you actually kind of look for kind of proof of the sphere Earth, like
spheroid, globe,
flying, spinning testicle, as Dell would say. But that's what they're claiming. They're claiming it's kind of, it's not even a perfect sphere now. Well, I think they've been claiming that for quite a while, but obviously
NASA pictures show a perfect globe.
But then their rebuttal to that is obviously, it's took out of context, and it's not actually as it's not really pear-shaped. It's more kind of it's just a slight bit, and if you was to scale it down, you just wouldn't notice it. Like, scale it down to like one of the images that you see, you just wouldn't notice it. But what you could try and do is try and count the pixels from one side to the other, from left to right, I mean, and then from top to bottom, and see if it's actually the same. That might be one thing to do. Obviously, even if it were, I mean, you can't even see the mountains and stuff. So if it's only like a few miles wider, then you might just not be able to tell. I'm just saying that I'm just playing devil's advocate, really, because I hear that people saying, "Oh, why is this always show perfectly round?" You know, I'm not saying I disagree with what you're saying. I'm just kind of. That's just what they will say, obviously.
This is it. Every single picture. I mean, you see every single flat earther that actually goes out and does activism on the street, and they'll say to someone in the street, "Oh, can you prove that the Earth is round, the globe?" Yeah, look at the pictures from Earth from space, and it's all Earth from space, and it goes back matter, doesn't it? Really? But
it's always kind of they can't give us, like, obviously, you see these globers, and I saw a video that somebody called Wolfie6020 put out earlier today, where he was like filming what he thought to be a ship going over the curve of the Earth, and but I noticed pretty quickly that there was actually a band of mirroring going on, and that's obviously something that happens quite a lot. You get this band of mirroring, and it kind of, because you're looking through like kind of atmosphere and stuff, it kind of causes distortions and things when you actually get like a mirrored, like it's basically a band of convergence, so the actual horizon line isn't where you think it is. It's and obviously it's just going out of sight as well. It actually goes out of sight, out of kind of due to the atmosphere before it actually goes all the way down, but it didn't actually kind of provide any of the mass to like say, well, if I'm at this height and it's this far, it'd have to be this far away for it to be going over the curve. And I mean, the thing is that they'll show it, look, it's going over the curve, but they'll actually not provide mass and say, well, kind of, this is how much should be visible at this distance. Because if they're like sort of cherry picking a quote unquote evidence, then they're kind of then it's probably not gonna perfectly correlate with the globe model. So they'll probably leave that part out where the actual kind of details like the mathematics and stuff, because it probably wouldn't. It would either be way more than what it's supposed to be or way less than it's supposed to be. But they probably wouldn't want to talk about that.
That video, was it a clear day on that video?
Can't really remember. It's just like it looked as though it was going through some kind of haze, some kind of atmospheric blocking or whatever. Yeah, even though it might have been clear, but because you're kind of, even at a height, you're still kind of looking slightly down through the kind of through the haze. Over obviously the further out in the distance, it'll eventually appear to go through like a fog layer, especially when you're looking over water. So even on very clear days, it'll eventually seem to kind of go through a layer of haze.
It does.
Yeah, it does.
Tuesday just gone, I was in Blackpool, and it was grey. It was a very grey, overcast day. But even just standing at the ocean, just looking out, and how anyone, Jamie, could say that that's round when you look from the left to the right, you look straight out.
Yeah, but I've heard that people on both sides saying, well, the horizon doesn't prove the shape of the Earth one way or the other, because we see it, like a circle around us, and it would look like that, whether it's a ball or flat, it would kind of look like, but it just kind of looks flat though. I mean, it doesn't, when you're looking from left to right, it doesn't appear to be kind of a circle or a part of a circle. It just appears to be a flat line, which could not be possible on a ball the size that they tell us anyway, because it'd have to be a hump in the middle, because how could you have a flat horizon from one side to the other, because that would mean that we'd have to be, as Del would say, like living on a 50 pence piece or something. which is just absurd.
And that was
They're like, oh, they
I mean, you was
big, but that's still, it's always the scapegoat. It's that it's too big, but it's actually not. If you actually look at the mathematics of it, 8 inches per mile squared, and like, oh yeah, well you still have to, factor in your height and all that. But if we're talking about curve on the horizon, the left to right perspective, then obviously the higher you go, the more it should start to obviously curve away. And obviously you should be looking down more and more. I do think you would probably look down a little bit on a flat plane as well, because you I don't think it rises perfectly to eye level. And I think that might be a deliberate straw man. I'm not sure, but I don't think it rises perfectly to eye level, because I've seen footage where it doesn't rise perfectly to eye level, and I think that's just due to the atmospheric blocking, because you can't see through that densest layer of atmosphere after a certain point, and it just kind of obscures anything beyond it, and that's where the horizon line is, where the point where you can't see anything more beyond that due to the atmosphere. I mean, you might be able to see like a sort of building stuck up beyond it, but you wouldn't see the bottom of it, because it would just kind of get blurred out because of the let's say the atmosphere. I mean, the only way that the horizon would be at eye level is if it was like an endless plane or something where you kind of have no obstruction, and it's just kind of that's the only way that it could stay at eye level, because if there's no obviously atmospheric distortion, that's the only way you'd get the horizon to be at eye level perfectly anyway. But it's not going down the rate that they claim it does. Apparently from like at 40,000 feet, it should be dropping at, I think it's 3.5 degrees or something. That's what the globalists claim anyway, and I think that's about right, because that's obviously the amount of curve that you would expect there to be. And it should fall drastically below eye level, and it's like no, that wouldn't though. Well, the thing is, when they talk about all these is equipment that they use to prove that it's not at eye level and all that, they always reference geodetic surveying, and they sound like they actually have a clue. Well, apparently the geodetic surveyors don't have a clue themselves. That's what I've heard anyway. I'm not saying that's the case, but I don't know. But I mean, the thing is though, it seems to kind of, when people talk about the horizon not being at eye level at like 1,000 feet, and I'm like, what? So you're telling me that somehow it's not at eye level there, but on one of those balloons, it is at eye level, or close to it. It's just below eye level, like I said, because at that height it should have fallen even further down. And look at the do you remember the thing from 1946, 65 miles up in the air, flat as a pancake, and it's at eye level as well, or close to it again. It's just kind of, you can't really tell because it's diagonal, but it would kind of, I don't know, but it is flat though, and you should expect a pretty drastic curve at that height from left to right.
Yeah,
720 miles away or something ridiculous. Yeah, so I mean, 720 miles, there should be, obviously, I don't know if that's the case. Maybe the atmosphere would get in the way before that distance, but
there are certain distances that you can see from certain height which are further away because of weather, I think.
Well, atmospheric refraction can actually allow you to see further, but the Metabunk calculator would be a better calculator to use if you want to find out how much obstruction that there is. So I'm like, and it even says on that it's just it's not even like an accurate way of measuring it, because it's kind of subject to a lot of variations in the atmosphere. So people, these globers, it's like they're God almost, because without it they'd have F all. The globe would be done for by now if it weren't for this 17%, whatever it is, atmospheric refraction nonsense. And it's been proven to be a lie, because, it's like, well, how is it that you can have this? I mean, I'm not saying that the guy who's pushing it's lying, but it's not true, because he brings up this whole Snell's law thing, and you can only have that kind of refraction if it's, kind of passing through a different medium, and it's not doing. Well, it's only, very minuscule, if anything. But when you're talking about, obviously going from air to water, then obviously, yeah, you're going to have that. You're going to have, kind of just some weird stuff. Like when you put a straw inside a cup of water, it'll bend, it'll kind of refract. But we're supposed to believe that when you're seeing something that's 50, 100 or whatever miles away, that's not the actual thing that we're seeing. It's actually a projection. It's actually just an illusion. It's just a hologram. Now, this is a really good bit, right? Because they laugh at us for thinking that maybe the sun and moon are just holograms and projections, but they believe that the cities in the distance that we all know to exist are holograms and projections. So you can actually throw their own frigging arguments right back at them. It's so great, isn't it?
Yeah, Chicago, the Chicago.
Oh, it's a mirage. It's not the actual
mirage
city that you see, because the actual city's fallen down below the curve. It's just being refracted upward, and that, by definition, it's a hologram or a kind of projection. Well, I wouldn't say a hologram necessarily, but definitely a projection. It's being projected up. If we're saying that the sun might be being projected in somehow, we're laughed at. I mean, why? I mean, what's wrong with that? I mean, of course, there's an atmosphere that's going to be affecting the sun, and the way we perceive it is being affected because of all the atmosphere, and that's probably what's causing the angular size to stay pretty much the same. But apparently, it actually doesn't. Apparently, it actually does change, and they don't want to really. Well, apparently, they have to admit it now or something. but they'll never really talk about it, and they'll keep pushing this whole thing of angular size never really changing, or they'll say, well, it doesn't change as much as it should. But if it is changing, then if it's changing by more than a fraction of a degree, then it should tell you that it's something wrong with the model. Because if it is 93 million miles away, then just by us throughout the day doing a kind of like hour spinning whatever, then you would never be able to detect as really a change in the sun's size. But then they're saying that actually throughout the year it's actually doing an elliptical orbit, so it's actually going 3 million miles closer at one point of the year and 3 million miles. So there's 3 million miles of difference in the distance to the sun. Now, how much of a change because maybe there should actually be a quite drastic change that you could notice throughout the year. I don't know if that's actually happens. I don't know. But they have some weird ways of explaining things, don't they?
They seem more strange explanation than what you would see on an actual flat Earth. When you see the sun circling around your head rather than going up and down and we're spinning around it, it just doesn't seem right what they're trying to tell us that the sun is doing and what we're doing.
Well, we're supposed to believe that we're falling away from the sun. When we see it set, that we're the ones that are falling away from it, and it's not the sun that's going over a flat plane, or even a sphere that's not moving. And that's that some people believe it's a non-moving sphere, Earth. But still, with that though, there's the problem of no curve, and also what's it suspended on? If that's another problem with that model as well. If it's just still and it's just it just that doesn't make any sense either. Just kind of suspended in space doesn't make any sense. But I mean, even the heliocentric, if it's moving constantly, then it's just kind of it doesn't need any kind of. I'm just putting that out there for anyone that believes it could be a stationary sphere Earth. But then again, the friction would have probably slowed it down. So I don't know. Maybe it could be possible because there might be things that they have to come out and say that. Well, actually, when they calculated the Earth's size at one time, it was actually 25,000 miles. But because of expansion over time, has actually kind of increased its size. It's actually kind of gotten bigger because of gravity or whatever. It's the mass has attracted more mass to it. That might be what they have to come out and say at some point. I don't know if they will, but it's just something to think about, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, what do you think about the Cavendish experiment, eh?
What's that? The Cavendish?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what. I haven't heard of that one. I don't think.
The Cavendish experiment, apparently, the experiment that proven gravity, apparently, 200 odd year ago or whatever it were, 1700s, I don't know. I'd have to look look at the actual year. But apparently it was something to do with 2 lead balls. One was slightly heavier than the other, and the heavier, the lighter one was attracted to the heavier one, apparently. But obviously, for that to be a conclusive experiment, you can't just do it with anything that kind of has any kind of magnetic property, because you have to take that into account, don't you? That it might be magnetism that's doing it. And they say, well, these metals and stuff, they're not magnetized or whatever, but they might be to like a small degree, So they should do it with different materials and things and see how it works.
Well, that's true. It's like the Brian Cox documentary when he was in that vacuum and they dropped a bowling ball or some sort of thing. It looked like a bowling ball and feathers.
Oh, they fell at something about how they fell at the same rate or something.
In the vacuum, yeah, they fell at the same rate. But then that doesn't prove anything though, unless you're actually there.
Well, they reckon it proves gravity or something, but
no,
the thing is with that, when they use that as proof of gravity, you can actually use this argument against that. Why do they fall at the same rate? If gravity is to do with mass, kind of, if something's more massive, it has a more gravitational pull towards the Earth, then shouldn't that make it fall faster? Duh.
Well, it shouldn't really. It shouldn't fall at the same time.
Exactly. That actually disproves their model, because actually doesn't disprove it, just disproves it as a proof of gravity, if you will, because then you think, well, why are they falling at the same rate? And then you think, well, it's the medium that they're in. That's what's causing the resistance. If the medium's less dense, it will fall a lot quicker. Like if you drop something through water, it's either gonna float, or even if it doesn't, it'll sink a lot slower than if it's falling through air.
Yeah.
So that kind of
a feather, it'd be like dropping a tissue or a piece of toilet roll, and that you expect a piece of toilet roll to drop at the same time. It's about the same weight as a feather. You hold a feather in your hand, and you had tissue, a face tissue in your hand. That would weigh about the same. You expect face tissue to fall at the same time as a bowling ball in a vacuum. I wouldn't expect it to.
Well, then you think, well, why are they having to resort to these arguments like that have really nothing to do with the shape of the Earth? Like when they talk about the star trails, and it does though, but it's the sky. When you're looking in the sky, I mean, that just because what it's doing in the sky seems to kind of fit with the because they use this whole mantra of logic and reason and all that.
Yeah.
But when you actually look at the Earth and actually kind of do actual tests and stuff, and obviously I haven't really done many myself. I mean, I've been out in Blackpool, and I've seen it. It's pretty flat out there. Don't know what it's like everywhere else in the world, but it definitely seems flat out there. I mean, I could see North Wales from Blackpool, and apparently you can even see it further up the coast past Cleveland's. So I was wondering if at some point I could go up and actually try and see it even further up, possibly at near the Lake District or something like that, possibly. Just maybe something to try. But the atmospheric conditions might be too much to see it. That's the only problem, because you're looking through that much atmosphere. Because even seeing Isle of Man from Blackpool is apparently quite difficult.
You can definitely see land, though. Definitely from Blackpool.
I mean, people have got quite a few obviously photos of Isle of Man from different. Apparently, you can see it from Winter Hill as well. And that's 90 miles. So it should be quite a bit of it obscured by the curve, but even though it is on a hill, but it should still be a lot more of it obscured than what is. And same, apparently, you can see it from Llandudno, and that's 75 miles away, and that's obviously a lot lower down.
Yeah. I think Winter Hill, I'm sure that's where they have the TV.
Yeah, there's a big mast there. It's a few hundred feet tall. It's like you can see it from quite a distance away. It's like, I'm just wondering if someone could actually do a test to see if they can actually see the because it lights up at night and stuff, and It's
Yeah, where I live in Earby, we have a TV antenna for the analog or Freeview, which is on top of the house, which points to Winter Hill. And then we have another one that I've put in the attic in the loft space that actually point the other way. We've got one pointing, downstairs we can get the Yorkshire news channels and whatnot. And then one way we can get the Northwest.
so you're on the border between.
Right on the border of Yorkshire and Lancashire, basically, yeah. So we can get both.
Yeah, because when I looked on the map, Earby is like the last sort of place in Lancashire, unless it's changed since that.
It will be. It'll be about that, yeah.
Yeah, because after that, it's then North Yorkshire. You're in sort of Craven, aren't you?
Yeah, Craven, towards Skipton, which is
because Thornton in Craven. That's the next place after Earby, isn't it?
It is. Yes.
Because we went that way last year. I think it were when we went up to in York nowadays, and so we went over that way.
Right, cool.
Of course, obviously from where I live to York, there'd have to be all this curvature that we're supposed to be going over. But yeah, you probably wouldn't notice it because
all the hill.
yeah, obviously all the hills and stuff would kind of. But even so, you just wouldn't notice it because you're only going over like 8 inches every mile.
Yeah, but you wouldn't notice it. But I don't know, when you go up hills, especially top of Pendle Hill. I'm gonna have to do it. I'm gonna have to take my camera up there. I'm gonna have to get a nice day, get my camera up there. I have to take Blackpool from Pendle Hill, and I'm sure we're around 60 miles at least. Pendle Hill, yeah, from Blackpool, from Pendle Hill. I'm sure I can get a pretty good picture of the coast.
Yeah, because I've seen some pictures where you can actually see the coast from Pendle Hill on like a clear day.
Yeah,
and I could just make out the shore from. You can't really tell how much further beyond the shoreline that you can actually see because it could be miles and miles, couldn't it? It could be like 50 miles or something for all we know, but it might just be a few miles. But it's hard to tell because of obviously the perspective issue.
Yeah,
because it just looks like a line, like just a faint line in the distance. But
I think you'd have to have a really, really good, a really seriously expensive camera.
Yeah, well, yeah, the Nikon, they're supposed to be bringing a new one out soon or something, which is going to be like 100 and odd times zoom or whatever they're supposed to be bringing out.
But
I don't really see what that's actually going to achieve because people are already kind of zooming in on pretty far out stuff, So maybe you could get more, like if you've got like a sort of silhouette in the distance, maybe like beyond. Say you have like a mountain range in the foreground or something, and you've got something further on, but you just can't quite make it out without the the right amount of zoom capability. I don't know.
It'd be better to something to judge your distance on as well, to pinpoint distances. I think to actually like this 8 miles. You'd have to 8 miles, and you'd have to get all your distances on, I think. Whereas you see videos where people are putting videos on where they are showing these distant mountains and they're showing the top of the mountains, but that could all be down to refraction as well, and atmospheric and whatnot.
So you're saying that doesn't always like prove like that it's not a ball, because someone else say, well, they took from a high elevation, so they're from a high elevation looking at something that's a high elevation, so they're saying it doesn't really prove.
Well, I'm not saying. I'm saying the further you're high.
No, I'm just saying some people would say that it doesn't. But when you look at some of these ones, it just kind of blows the whole kind of refraction argument out the water, literally.
Oh yeah, true. It does. This is what it's higher up, so you would see further, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you would see further, but even when people take that into account, but apparently there's this thing called angular resolution. So apparently this is a law of physics that anything that's that gets so like close together, like two things that come too close together, they kind of merge into one single thing or something like that. I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
And apparently that's why sometimes we lose the bottoms of buildings, because you get this kind of distortion going on. And there's people that have been putting stuff out like Good Times for All. He's been doing some experiments showing how the diffraction and stuff like that's playing a part in how we see things kind of appear to be going bottom first over the horizon. but what he's saying now is that you would have to add this to the Earth curve calculator. So if you've say like got 10 miles out, if you're at 0 feet, for instance, you're gonna have 66 feet of obscurity, aren't you? So at that, but you would have to add the angle of resolution limit onto that, because apparently that would add to how much obscured you'd get. I don't know how exactly it works, but if that's true, then the globe is even more dead than ever, because it really does blow their arguments out of the water.
Well, you have to think, if the world is a globe, you would see some evidence of gravity.
But they're saying that there is evidence of it because you're seeing the bottoms of buildings and ships going, first. But again, it's never the amount that they claim it to be.
No, not.
And if it is, it's cherry picked. It's very rare that they just get lucky to where the atmosphere is just right to where they can actually. But their results are never conclusive, because it's like there's things to take into account. I mean, if you look at Soundly's footage, I mean, it's cool on him for kind of actually trying to prove it. But again, you got this kind of distortion going on. You got this band of distortion at the horizon. You can clearly see that things are getting kind of mirrored and probably kind of squashed in the distance, kind of compressed, and that's what's causing the appearance of curve.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I've seen some of Soundly's videos, and he does put across a good point about curve and, like you say, with buildings and whatnot. But
I'd give it to him for that, and it doesn't seem too much of a troll, I suppose. But
they're just trying to prove or disprove what us flat earthers are trying to get across. You can't blame anyone for doing that.
Yeah, you can't, because if they feel like, well, these people are just kind of believing it's flat, then it's like, well, we're told that it's a globe, so I'll go out and see if I can actually find evidence of that. But if you have this kind of confirmation bias, then you'll not, you'll reject any evidence that will kind of. And I'm open to both sides. If it were a globe, then why is there even still like a discussion about curvature and stuff like that? We should have moved way past that.
Yeah.
2017, of course. It's like, apparently, Aristophanes probably proved it 2,000 years ago. So why is anyone still talking? There's all these stories don't even make sense anyway. I mean, come on, like someone 2,000 years ago put 2 sticks in the ground or whatever. It's like people buy into this because some authority told them.
Yeah.
That could just be a completely made-up character for all we know.
So,
in fact, I'd be kind of 90% sure that it is a completely made-up character. And even some of these, people later on as well, maybe as well. I'm not sure about that, though. But we can't know for sure if these people even existed. Then if you think about that, then why are they teaching these things as fact when they don't even know whether these people existed or not? And when they say that they did, they're just being intellectually dishonest.
Yeah.
They don't know.
Growing up, just growing up, being a normal human being and just growing up through life, and you see, and you're going through school, and the history. This is that. Newton and discovered gravity and all this sort of blah de blah, and you do sort of, as a young child, sort of wonder, wait, something not right, and even growing up. And then that's why I think straight away, as soon as the first flat earth video came to me last year, it's around 12 months ago.
So it's like it kind of confirmed these kind of nagging feelings that you had deep down inside you that you just kind of ignored as you were growing up, because everyone else were believing in it. It's like, well, it must be true, but you was kind of.
And you trust your senses, don't you? You trust your senses, and you know yourself you're not spinning.
Yeah, because apparently, a lot of the kids, they were like, well, how come water can stick upside down, and how come people don't fall off if they're standing up? Because they think, well, up is up and down is down, because that's what we experience. That there is an up and there is a down, and then they say, well, it's all relative because the gravitational pull, and they go into all these kind of fanciful theories, and it's just, you just think, well, wait a minute, well, they haven't even drilled more than 8 miles down into the crust, and obviously I probably knew that they hadn't kind of been down to the core, because it'd be pretty dangerous going down there, wouldn't it? but because it's science, there's scientists, you trust them. But this is all pseudoscience. It's not real science because it's not provable or disprovable because the Earth must have a core because of gravity. So it's like, so if it's a ball, it must have gravity, and because it has gravity, it must have a core. Yeah, you see where this is going? It's like they have to put assumption on assumption.
Yeah.
And then they say about how it's all these temperatures and all this stuff, and it's like it doesn't even make any sense when you actually start to think about it.
Get to a layer of molten lava and some sort of sediments and all this sort of these rocks.
Well, they say that the crust is 70 miles thick. So how do they even know that? Again, if they've only been 8 miles, so they don't even know if they can't even know if the crust is 70 miles thick. And they're saying, oh well, we can see the volcanic activity. Well, how do they know that's even coming from more than a few miles down? They don't. Or either they don't, or they do, and they don't want us to know where it's coming from and what's causing it, because they might be frigging causing it.
This is another thing with all this Illuminati psyops and all this conspiracies, all these going on there. Not just like Earth, but look at what the weather geoengineering is doing, and the
it's a very real thing. And there was someone in the chat the other day, but I mean, it was kind of. I mean, it was like, well, I don't believe. I mean, he believed in the flat Earth, but he believed in cloud seeding, but he didn't believe in chemtrails. I'm like, if you don't believe in chemtrails and you believe in flat Earth, you're probably not to be trusted, to be honest. I mean, I learned about chemtrails before I even looked into it because somebody led me onto it, and I was like, friggin' hell, they're like putting all these aluminium and crap in them. I'm like, this is clearly a deliberate agenda. It's putting all this stuff in them, and it's like it was going on about something to do with a petri dish and how that proved that it disproved chemtrails to him, but he didn't really explain why. To me, it's just I don't know. I don't want to accuse anyone, but it just seemed like a gatekeeper to me. I don't know.
Troll, sort of. Keep it.
Well, I don't know. Just maybe it is just like a new troll tactic. He's on board with the flag, but no, he doesn't believe in the other stuff that we believe in. And like, they're gonna have to be cleverer than that.
I think chemtrails are a way to try and cover up the flat Earth.
Well, I was thinking that because of all the chemtrailing and stuff, it's making it harder for people to do observations and things, because there's all this. It's obviously adding a layer to the atmosphere and stuff, so people find it harder to do some of these sky stuff, and it's making it more kind of blurry, and it's kind of
harder to
and even just kind of long distance stuff might be more difficult because you're looking through all those layers. But some are like, well, it would cost too much to kind of do these things. You know how much money they're actually making, though? It's probably not even a drop in the ocean compared to what they're actually making. I mean, the amount that they're making. I mean, literally, the Rothschilds would be like shameless compared to them, probably.
Jamie, I'm gonna have to have a toilet break.
All right,
mate. So
don't worry. Yeah.
I'll put myself on mute, and then I'll let you chat for a bit and have a check on the chat box and whatnot.
Yeah, no worries.
Back in there.
Right, yeah, that's it.
Nice one.
Right, Andrew Calvert. How you doing? Chemtrails could be messing with the weather. Well, I'm not even sure if it could be at this point. I think it's that they seems pretty deliberate to me. It's definitely an agenda that they have to kind of mess with the weather, try and block the sun out so people aren't getting vitamin D, perhaps. But yeah, when I was looking into their chemtrails, I was looking, obviously, seeing how like that maybe the government's actually kind of putting all these toxic stuff in the air to kind of make it so that the crops don't do as well, and try it, obviously, a depopulation or a population control agenda. I've never really kind of trusted governments because they say one thing, but hardly any of them really ever actually deliver what they promise to do. Anyway, I don't really get to. I haven't really watched that Eddie Bravo thing yet. But some saying he's a shill and all that, but at least he's giving people a platform to kind of speak the truth and what have you. So who knows? Who's a dumb MF? Well, so yeah, what's everyone up to then? So has anyone made any changes to their life since looking into flat Earth? Because that's kind of the important thing. Because if you just get into it and it's not really making a change to your life, then it's kind of pointless, isn't it? It's supposed to be kind of affecting people in a good way. Cat Earth, how you doing? Good Science Roll just did an experiment where I made a shadow smaller than its object. Cool, maybe that's a kind of disinfo thing, whatever, the whole kind of shadow being smaller than the object. Who knows? I saw this video someone put out the other day or something. They were trying to debunk the flat earthers' claims about the eclipses and stuff. About how the kind of going the opposite way to the spin or something. And they say, well, yeah, that's because the moon is traveling like twice the speed of the Earth. But I don't know. Here around, a lot of us are doing things, even small things change big things. Yeah, so you just gotta even if you makes a small change now, that small change that you make now can, I suppose, turn into something really big down the line, possibly. Don't know. But anyway, make sure to like and share if you haven't already. Let's everyone know I'm live right now.
Hello.
Right.
All right, mate.
No worries.
Here's a question for you, Jamie. Do you have any flat Earth clothing or anything like that, T-shirts?
No, I don't wear any flat Earth clothing. I mean, I don't have any of that. Do you have any of that?
I do actually. Yeah, I've got a few T-shirts I've ordered offline due to basically YouTube videos, like Flat Earth Asshole one, homeless, lunar module or homeless tweakers shelter T-shirt. I've got that one. I ordered one off Amazon. The Earth is flat. I had I've got one of Russian Vid's T-shirts where it has the Flat Earth azimuthal equidistant map on it. Research Flat Earth, and one of Richie from Boston's T-shirt, which is look up basically what they're doing in the sky, chemtrails and whatnot.
Yeah.
But yeah, my wife she says you better stop getting all these Flat Earth T-shirts and whatnot. She's not right happy with me about it. I can't help it.
Yeah, apparently, I think it was on Silent Majority TV. He's brought out his own T-shirt, and it was something like, what was it? Losing your marbles equals sanity.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like if anyone has any good ideas, then they should just kind of use it to their advantage, really, and just kind of help promote this message, really.
Have you seen a channel? Called Flat Earth Addict.
Flat Earth Addict.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen his channel. I've just never really watched him because, I've been on one of his panels before.
Yeah.
I've never really watched him that much. I mean, he's done his own kind of activism or something, but I've not really watched it.
Yeah, he made a few banners and he put them around the central London area where he lives. It's busy, bustling, obviously central London, and all he seemed to get is ridicule, but he did it in such a way where he's engaging with the public, whereas he wasn't bothered, and that's sort of...
Yeah, so you just get used to it after, because some people might get offended when they see people, they're just kind of violently opposing what they're doing, and but it's like you just get used to that after a while, and you just be like, whatever,
Going against the narrative, going against what we've been taught and what we've been told, how we should think that the Earth is a globe. So
you got to get them to question for themselves, haven't you?
Yeah, what Dell does in such a way, the way he does it is street activism, and the way he explains it, and the way he goes through his narrative.
Yeah, because it's kind of a bit stupid to kind of just say to somebody
the Earth is flat.
The Earth is flat. I mean, maybe some say the Earth is flat. Research it, but you should at least say maybe you should word it in a different way. Say if you're going to put it on something, say
have you ever considered
the Earth isn't kind of this spinning testicle. As Del would say, I mean, you probably wouldn't get away with that, putting that in the middle of town.
No, I think.
Flying through the Milky Way, and that's the that's the white liquid around the testicle.
Oh no. Yeah.
Yeah, the asteroid belt's just above it.
And it's constantly expanding, getting bigger.
Yeah.
The universe expanding is what we're being told. But an infinite space.
Yeah, it's just laughable, isn't it, when you think about it now?
It is. And you just when you look up in the sky and the constellations haven't changed since our young time has begun, or whenever it was created. Constellations have been there. It's like the what's it coming up? Is it 23rd September this month? Yeah, 23rd.
Yeah, apparently there's supposed to be some prophecy or something.
Yeah, something to do with Virgo and Leo and rebirth.
Yeah, well, that's coinciding with the meetup that I'm going to be doing. So yeah, maybe that's the time when while we're out, we're just going to all get saved by Jesus or something. I don't know.
I don't know. Are you?
I mean, I'm not a religious person, but I'm not. Obviously, I don't believe it's an accident or anything. I mean, I don't believe that we're created by an accident. I just don't really go along with like the religious stuff because I don't. I mean, I feel like it's just if you need to have faith in it, then it's probably bullshit. But that's just my opinion. But I respect other people's opinions, and I'm not gonna laugh at them or ridicule them. I'm just kind of if it does happen, it does happen. We'll just wait and see. But I'm not gonna hold my breath.
No, and watching some. I mean, I keep going back to YouTube, but this is all. I don't watch mainstream TV anymore. It's fucking boring. Fucking all this programming shit on the TV. I only pay for the TV for my children basically, so they can watch that. But watching YouTube and you see people on these videos that are saying, "Oh yeah, if the Earth does turn out to be flat, and it is true, we'll all have to start going to church because God is real." It's not necessarily the case. I wouldn't have.
Yeah, you wouldn't have to go to church anyway. I mean, like,
no.
Even if it is real, then it's like, well, you just kind of, you just kind of do what you would do anyway. Kind of, well, not saying you would do what. I mean, obviously, with the flat Earth knowledge, you would kind of take that into consideration and think about, well, like if it's flat, then that means that it's obviously not an accident, and we are a lot more kind of significant than they want us to believe that we are. So we should perhaps find what our purpose is and just kind of kind of do what we're supposed to be doing instead of all this kind of stuff that's kind of that we're told that we should be doing, but realistically we shouldn't be doing it at all.
You need a slave job to earn money, pay for certain things, and it shouldn't have to be. It shouldn't be like that. It was never like that.
But some people are actually happy with the jobs that they got, even though it sucks. It's like they're still happy with their delusion.
Getting up every morning and going to work,
but it's like, how can people just love to do that? I'd be like,
do you work, Jamie?
I mean, I don't right now. I'm just kind of chilling, really. But I mean, I'm like, why would I want to get up, early in the morning, try and force myself to go to a job that I wouldn't even want to do? I mean, I'd be kind of, it wouldn't really be for my benefit. At the end of the day, it would be for someone else. But I used to think that, anyone that didn't go to work was just kind of lazy. But I was like, but when you think about it, people should probably get more back to nature, I suppose, and just kind of doing what they got to do, and just kind of.
There's a place in California. Is it called Slappy or something like that? Which is basically I watched another video earlier today, and it was this group of guys sort of took a road trip to this lawless city in California, where there was basically a bunch of guys that were just sort of had enough, and it was a military base at the end of in World War II, and it got sort of abandoned. So a lot of people just found it and squatted there and sort of built their own little city. And it's just a place where people just live in peace and harmony with no electric, no water, and they all get on. And you see society today, Jamie, where some people are scared to actually walk out of their fucking houses because they don't know what to expect. And that's not right for society nowadays, to actually be scared to actually walk out of their house. And I can imagine that more in sort of big cities and whatnot, rather than rural areas. But you still see it though, where people do not go out because of society and what's happening outside. I mean, I've got two young kids, a 9-year-old boy and a 10-year-old girl. A 10-year-old girl, she's absolutely fine. She's up for herself. But my 9-year-old son, he's got ADHD apparently, which is another made-up fucking.
Yeah, I think it's I don't know, it's a diet thing, isn't it?
Yeah, but he doesn't play out though, Jamie. He doesn't want to go out because he knows as soon as he goes out, he gets picked on, and it doesn't have.
So why is that then? Is it because of the label?
It is because of the label, and because they know he's an easy target, because they know they can wind him up easily, because he has got this so-called.
Well, yeah, because it might not even exist, because it's like if you're told you have it and you believe that's gonna like kind of it's a psyop. I think a lot of these so-called kind of neurological conditions and whatever aren't what they. I mean, yeah, you've got in some severe cases. I do believe it is, obviously a real thing, but in most cases, it's kind of a placebo effect, maybe.
Jamie, it's naughtiness, pure and simple naughtiness.
Well, I mean, but it's like if they believe they've got it, then maybe they will actually start to show signs of it just because they believe they've got it. That it might work that way as well.
To be honest, he seems to try and blame that more now he's being diagnosed with it, especially at school. Whereas he's telling his teachers, you can't tell me this because I've got this and this, and my mum said so.
Yeah, so it's like it's a kind of, it's like a sort of self-fulfilling prophecy. If you believe that it's going to limit you, then it is going to limit you, and it's just, if you believe it's not a bad thing that you've got it, then it shouldn't impact you the way it would if you did. It's about the kind of mindset, isn't it?
Yeah, well, they're back at school on Tuesday. After the school holidays, which is great. Can't wait. Actually back at home. It's a bit of peace and quiet. There's loads of kids running around this day. Causing trouble, throwing stones at my fucking door. Because I tell these kids, some kids, Jamie, I've done it before. Because it's in my Flat Earth t-shirts and whatnot. And I've had, a music mix on. And I like to listen to music. I play music loud when my wife's out. So I turn it on.
So what sort of music would you, kind of listen to then?
Well, generally, I'm into sort of guitar music, like Oasis, that sort of stuff. But I love my 60s music, Beatles, Wars, Animals, all that sort of thing, Kinks and whatnot. But then, obviously, on YouTube, I've been listening to Flat Earth music videos like Brainstorm, Flat Earth, Esoteric, Astronomy, like that song. I just put them on. And
I mean, they say that like out that's kind of mainstream music or even rock music or whatever. It's kind of not really good for you apparently. Because of the frequency or whatever, and you have to look back to like some of the older music and stuff to the actual stuff that's more harmonious.
Yeah, definitely. None of this. I'm not into any of this sort of like, I don't know how to class it as dance music in a way. This boom, boom,
like techno music and whatever.
I can play guitar, play bass, and I can play drums. I'm more rhythm, something with a bit of rhythm, definitely a bit of, like you say, harmonics and that sort of thing.
Yeah. There's like three things that obviously make up a song: is rhythm, melody, and harmony.
Yeah.
And obviously a lot of songs that they're missing on at least one or two of those things, and you just kind of feel like there's a kind of void in that song, perhaps, because it's just kind of missing one of those ingredients that make up the song. So if it's just purely rhythm, then there needs to be that kind of melody and that harmony to kind of spice it up, doesn't it? That's what it is. But with the mainstream music, because they're kind of, to me, just using it to dumb people down, and it's dumbed down over the years. It's actually been scientifically proven to have been, dumbing people down over the years. It's a real thing. I mean, not maybe that it's not dumbing, but it's actually the music itself is, kind of dumbing down. But the fact that people are still enjoying it proves that they're being dumbed down. To me, that's what's going on. Why are people enjoying this kind of repetitive beats and stuff that are, that maybe they have a different taste in music. I don't know. It's one of those things. I think it's a subjective thing, isn't it? But I do believe that we're conditioned to like certain stuff more than others. Like, as in, we're conditioned to like a certain type of music. We're conditioned to like a certain, kind of type of everything, probably type of film, types of sports, because it's the stuff that kind of dumbs us down and keeps us in kind of enslavement, really.
It's like the football league, Premier League, any football league. They want you to get into that and pay money. It's all about the money. Look how much money's in that. But then you see people that are actually fighting amongst themselves when the team loses. It's all, like you say, it's all dumbing down, Jamie. It's all.
Yeah. So P900 Cool Picks has put, I don't listen to music anymore after listening to Mark Devlin. It's all bad frequency and subliminal messages. Well, it's not all bad. It's not always. Obviously, all the mainstream stuff. It's they put stuff in there, but it's not going to be all bad, is it? Surely there's going to be some stuff that you can find that'll actually make you kind of stuff that you can actually resonate with. I mean, like stuff that actually kind of takes you to a higher vibration. To me, that's what it's about. It's about kind of elevating your mood, isn't it? And,
there's a lot of subliminal messages in music videos, and the way that some of these I don't know what I put them at, these hip hop dancers, and say like Katy Perry, and for example, there's obviously more that they put all these messages in their videos, but they're doing like the hand signals and the 666s, and
it can't all just be a coincidence, can it?
But it can't, because they're showing all the 666 and the numbers, and it all adds up, really, if you plan it, and events that occur and how they're singing about events and whatnot, and how it leads up to certain things, and you think, wait a minute, that was actually mentioned. Something more coincidental into it, I think.
We are waking up. I put wax. I think it means was, but I was very hyper as a child. They would say I had ADHD, but it's just loads of energy, which is a good thing. They want us slowed down. Yeah, that could be what it is.
Yeah, it could be.
They kind of diagnosed it as a bad thing.
He's full of being. He needs that sort of excess built up energy, in a way, taken out of it. If he's tired, he calms down. He does. You can see him relaxing a lot more.
Yeah, because it's like that excess. People release it, don't they? And I mean, some people find it hard to control it, but like when they sometimes people get emotional, and stuff like that.
Yeah,
we're obviously in a society where it's not natural. It's people get triggered by things because there's things that suck about this society,
Yeah, going back to Pendle Hill, he's come up there.
You're going back to Pendle Hill.
Yeah, talking about Pendle Hill again. When the first two times that I've took my son, he was halfway up before I had to go in a quarter way up, and I was like, Jovian, slow down. I can't make it that quick. And he was running up. He's releasing that energy. He had loads. He's like a burst of. He was running up. He's only a small lad as well. He had loads of energy. I couldn't believe it. He was halfway up. He looked like a dot in the distance compared to where I were on the actual side of the hill. I'm thinking, wait a minute, I can't keep up. So I actually had to keep shouting out to him to stop and wait for him, because he was getting that far ahead of me. I think it probably doesn't help that I'm a smoker, Jamie, but there you go. But yeah, he has, definitely outbursts of energy, going back to that condition and whatnot. Yeah,
because they teach us as that burst of energy is a bad thing. It's not, because if we didn't have much energy, then we'd just be kind of we'd be depressed, wouldn't we? Because depressed means because I heard this thing that depressed means deep rest. Deep
rest.
Yeah, it's because your energy levels are low. Because when your energy levels are low, your serotonin levels and all that is low.
To be honest,
so it's actually a mental condition, isn't it? When you're kind of so it's not that like a situation that because people just get over things, don't they? But when you're nothing's making you happy, it's because you've got low levels of these these serotonin and all these things you have in your brain that's supposed to make you happy. So yeah, that's where I'm at anyway.
Yes, it'd be like sitting at home every day and not feeling like doing anything. That's getting into depression as well.
Well, that's kind of procrastination and kind of lack of motivation, really, and what have you.
Yeah, but you see people that do this, and you think, well, what leads you to that? Why be like that? Why not take and embrace the earth as it is, and take it as it comes? So I just take life as it comes. You can't plan anything. You can't really plan anything, I don't think, because if you start making plans for something will always come in your way.
Well, not always.
Not always, but most of the time you get an obstruction. It's like stopping you taking you that way, unless you take it by the horns.
Yeah, sometimes you can just if you're willing to kind of do whatever it takes to but obviously if you're meant to do it, then it's like, obviously I don't agree with that you should just not bother planning. I think you should, but don't be too disappointed if it doesn't happen. Because I think planning can be good because you're kind of prepared for whatever, but obviously we need to live in the now, don't we? I mean,
always have a backup.
Yeah.
Plan B. You need a plan B.
So if you're planning for something, you have to always have other stuff in mind, like that you can fall back on. I think if we never made plans at all, we'd just be I don't think we'd really get anywhere, to be honest. I don't know. That's just me. I think.
I know where you're coming from. Yeah.
I mean, I can kind of see both sides. Because you couldn't just say, think to yourself, let's run a marathon today. No, you couldn't do that. You would have to plan it out. So
yeah, circumstances like that.
But there are obviously variables and stuff, things that might get in the way. But if you just go, it's when people have a certain date that they kind of put on something, like I want to have this done by such a date, but you shouldn't be so tight with kind of deadlines and stuff like that. You should just kind of be a bit more open to the possibility that it might extend a bit further than you would expect it to, and just kind of.
I'll just change that date and I'll put it forward. Yeah, such and such a date, because everything's just gone array, sort of thing. But yeah.
Yeah, I think in life there always needs to be balance. I think that's the main message of it, really. Balance is key, and I think even with obviously the genders and stuff. I think that they've fed us what it's supposed to be like to be a man and a woman, but that's all kind of a propaganda that they have us divided as genders, and we're not meant to be like that. Because it seems to kind of put you in a box from birth. If you're a boy or a girl, it kind of determines what path you go down. Well, it doesn't really, because you determine your own path, and you shouldn't just let any kind of label kind of get in that way. Even though, male, female are somewhat different, but I don't know. I mean,
do you believe in fate?
Fate. I don't know. I've not really kind of had any experience that would kind of really lead me to any kind of conclusion on that.
No, it's just something that my mum has about, and she's sort of your life is already mapped out for you from when you're born to when you die. Your life is already mapped out. You are doing on a day-to-day basis what you are supposed to do.
Well, yeah, I mean, I've heard these people saying, there's no such thing as free will. We're just kind of, this is all mapped out for us. We're just kind of, so even if you think you're making plans for the future and all that, it's all going to happen whether we want it to or not. And I can't say that, to be honest. I mean, I don't know if that's, maybe it isn't just mapped out, but I'd really hate to believe that it's all, kind of.
Well, tomorrow, what you're going to do when you get up tomorrow is already mapped out for you. That's hard. It is hard to believe, really.
But then again, with obviously all the things that are going on in the world, so they're influencing your kind of. Then, well, is there any kind of such thing as free will anyway? No.
I
mean, that's obviously a different thing, but.
How long have you been into?
Yeah, flat Earth.
Yeah, how long?
just over a year.
Yeah, but roughly the same as me. Probably just a bit less for myself. But soon, like I say, as soon as I saw the first video, that just hooked me, and it just sort of proved everything that I thought as I was growing up. We cannot be living on a ball. How can Australia be on the underside of down under? No, it don't work. But there you go. That was my view on it. As soon as I saw the first flat Earth video, that was it. I had to look into it, kept looking into it, and kept looking into it.
Yeah. Anyway, we probably won't keep it going too much longer. I'm just probably going to wrap it up in a little while. But yeah, if there's anything else you wanted to kind of bring up first.
Not that I can think of, unless because we are living quite close to each other. If you think about it, really.
Yeah, it's not too far on the grand scale of the flat plane.
It's not really. No. Car ride away. Basically, it's walking 20 miles from here to Burnley, and it'd be about the same, won't it? I don't know how far Burnley is from Blackburn.
Yeah, it's not a massive distance. I mean, I could obviously hop on a train and just get there. It's not hard at all to get to.
Drive to Colne, jump on a train at Colne, just meet you at Burnley Central Station, just go and have a coffee.
Yeah, it just depends if, because the one I got on before was Manchester Road, but...
All right.
But I mean, it just depends which train I'm getting though.
Yeah, it's only up.
Because I think one of them does stop at Burnley Central, which is obviously nearer to the centre, really, isn't it?
It's a Colne train, one that goes and stops at Colne and doesn't go anywhere else.
Yeah, it's a bit pointless that. I mean, why does it not go to Skipton or something? I mean, maybe it's because of all the fields and stuff around there and they don't want to have...
Point, Jamie, that actual train line actually went all the way from Colne right the way through to Skipton. There's an old railway line straight through, and it actually comes through Earby. Does the old railway line came from Colne straight through Earby, and then past Thornton, and it went round to Skipton. Now you could join that.
Well, apparently it's really hard to get to Skipton on a train nowadays.
Yeah, you won't be able to. I think. But
you mean you'd be better off going on the bus, and that's probably.
Yeah, you'd have to get a bus, or you get on the train. Clitheroe. That's the other end of fucking Yorkshire, side way. I think Ribble Valley. I think it's the Ribble Valley that way.
Yeah, so it's just kind of doing a longer journey than it needs to do, but...
Yeah, but Burnley's good though. I'd love to meet up with you in Burnley.
Yeah, there's really not much going on there though, is there?
Oh, not really. I've got some nice flat earth sticky tape that I could bring along and stick some of that up somewhere. Bring a bit of signage, bring a camera. I don't know, do you? Get a bit of activism going on, put it on YouTube.
I was in Burnley a few weeks ago, actually.
Yeah?
And yeah, we went sort of for a walk around the parks and stuff.
Which park?
Well, around all over, from the centre, and just kind of, all the way kind of through, you come to a reservoir or something, and then eventually it kind of takes you to Townley Hall, and we went in there.
Townley Hall, yeah. Yeah,
that's a...
It would be, oh my God. I take it you're not a Blackburn football fan then?
No, I don't support football at all.
I think so. You wouldn't have been anywhere near there. It's right near Turf Moor. Obviously.
That's near there, isn't it? Because we went past that on the way back into Burnley. Obviously, the centre of Burnley. That's where we went through. So have you been there or something before? Turf.
Yeah, I've been to the Turf. I'm a massive Arsenal fan, dude. I'm an Arsenal fan. So.
Well, you said you're originally a Southern Gate, aren't you?
Yeah, I was. Born in 1980, lived in Colne since I was 2 years old. So I moved up here in 82. So I moved up north in 1982. I'm 37 now. I've been living around here most of my life, but yeah, I was brought up to be an Arsenal man. Follow your roots. Yeah.
What have you got? Caribbean ancestry or something?
No, not really.
Get it? Follow your roots.
No. No, it's just where you're born, isn't it? Sort of, that's the way I think of it. It's like where you're from, where you were born. Yeah, I was born in London, so it's where I'm from originally. So I wasn't born in the north. I'm nothing against, obviously, northern people because I've got this northern accent myself. Some people,
well, you couldn't have really had anything else because you
yeah.
never really spoke with a southern accent to begin with. So
No, some people say I sound like a Yorkshireman. That's probably with living in Earby. 'Cause I've lived
yeah,
in,
it's kind of
and that's on the.
on the verge, isn't it? So because if you go further west, you get a different twang.
Yeah, you start picking it up, like listening to the people that talk around you. You start talking like the people that talk around you, sort of thing. And it's like, wait a minute, right? Fair enough. Well, there you go. But that's it. I couldn't move back down south because I couldn't afford it for a start.
Yeah, because of the inflation and all that.
Yeah, I just couldn't afford it. Nah, at all. Plus, I'm not working at the minute, so that don't help. So I'm jobless. Well, I actually got sacked. That's another story. I'll tell you about that when we meet up, mate.
It'll be good to do that at some point. But I mean, it'd be good if you could actually. I know it might be a bit further, but yeah, I'm doing one in so on the 23rd of September.
Where you meeting?
That's going to be at Heaton Park, though.
Heaton Park, Manchester. Well, I could make that. I drove down Manchester.
How far is that from you then? That's
about 40.
Pardon?
Yeah, about 50 miles from where I am now. That wouldn't bother me in the car. I could do that.
Yeah, it's going to be on like a
23rd. That's as well, isn't it?
It's going to be midday. It's going to be
The day after.
outside of Heaton Hall, so that's where we're all going to be meeting up.
Right. Have you got any not applicants? I was trying to think of the word.
Well, some people already saying that. Well, I did a meet up in Preston last week.
Oh yeah.
And I got a few turn up, but it weren't like a really busy event. I'm expecting there to be maybe a few more this time though.
Yeah, I saw your advert for the Preston one.
Yeah.
Video, yeah.
Yeah, but some people kind of dropped out, but obviously, if there was other meetups going on around that time as well. So I think
in that area or that time.
Well, not in I think there was one obviously in Scotland that obviously people wouldn't have been able to come to this one anyway. But someone was saying, well, we're probably just going to go down to Martin's or go down to some other meetup or maybe some of them just dropped out for any other reasons anyway. So I'm kind of unsure about who's going yet anyway.
Oh, right, okay.
One of the people that turned up though was someone that I didn't know about at all because he didn't even have like a YouTube account or it like that. He just was like a researcher and he just kind of his semi channel and he decided to turn up and he was from Southport. So I mean,
what sort of like watching one of your videos sort of turned up?
Well, he must have just been like come across my channel or something and obviously seen the event and stuff and I didn't know about the guy. So
oh well, yeah, that's positive though, isn't it? Something like that.
Yeah, because you never know who's going to turn up, and I'll try and keep it an open thing for people to come to. They don't necessarily have to be flat earthers. They can just be like, if they're into like conspiracies and stuff, then they're kind of more than welcome to come. Really,
any sort of conspiracy theory, or
even if they're into chemtrails, because you might be able to get the kind of because you get these chemtrail groups and stuff that are from the UK and stuff that they might want to come and get together. But then again, if they're just into chemtrails, then they might not do. I don't know. Some believe in like kind of hot, kind of weather, kind of modification and things like that, and some go deeper with it and stuff, and they have other theories and stuff like that. Some might believe in the Mandela effect as well and stuff like that. But yeah, just getting people that are into alternative stuff, like even if they're not really into conspiracies, but they're into like more, I guess, like the esoteric stuff, like the more kind of alternative ideas and stuff like that doesn't get talked about a lot.
You get a lot of like 9/11 as well. That's another.
Well, I mean, it's like you get like 40% or whatever people woke to that, and it's like there's nothing actually happened. It's not. I mean, even though some might say it reached critical mass or something, but it's never it's never actually what actually happened. Is that going to happen with flat Earth as well? I don't know. Are people really going to care? That's the thing that we've got to be kind of open to the idea of.
Yeah. It depends. You just one of them on the day. How it goes on the day, sort of thing. When you turn up, see how many people you can get to actually try and push the message on that certain day. Because you don't see much of this. You do. You see a lot of activism about the flat Earth, but not a lot. in the UK. It seems to be to the big six. I see a lot in Manchester. I haven't seen hardly any videos from Manchester, flat Earth activism. I haven't seen any videos.
Yeah, you'd think there'd be a few for you because it's like a big city, and even like Birmingham, you think, like especially Birmingham, you think there'd be quite a lot there, wouldn't you?
You'd think so, but there's hardly any. It seems to be London and Edinburgh and Scotland at the minute. There doesn't seem to be.
Yeah, Glasgow or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, up like further north rather than the north of England, or not even Newcastle. There's nothing that's going on around there. You might get a few people that are on chat on Google Hangout that are saying, yeah, they're from this, and they'd like to see more activism, but they're not doing it themselves.
Yeah, they should be like, because that people are hoping to see other people do it, but they should be trying to contribute and try and.
Like you were saying though, you can't sort of.
You can't just wait for some savior or something. You've got to actually be your own savior, and you get these religious people like, oh, you got to, kind of wait for a savior. Well, to me, that old message is kind of, it's really bad to me. That whole thing that we need to wait for someone to save us. That's how they was able to manipulate us. We've got to be our own savior. If we can't be our own savior, then we should be ashamed of ourselves. Really, that's all I've got to say about that.
If you can't speak your own mind, then we are literally being controlled.
If we have to reach out to some higher being or higher authority, then it's because we don't trust in ourselves enough, and we need guidance from someone else. Yeah, we reach out to other people and stuff from time to time, but we don't over rely on external forces. We just get on with it ourselves and just kind of do as much as we can for ourselves and for everyone around us, but also don't let people take liberties too much. Just kind of make them kind of take responsibility for themselves as well. Just balance, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely a balance between what you're told and what you believe. What you believe with your own two eyes and be contrary to what you're told by mainstream television and news and this, that, and the other. So yes, there's a massive hurricane in America at the minute that's tearing up Houston, Texas, but NASA already made the cloud. It's all geoengineering that's actually happened, and a hurricane shouldn't last for that long over land, stream straight over, but it's been there and it caused all this fucking devastation. And what's happening now to the oil industry where, wait a minute, it's Texas that are actually producing all the fucking oil needed for all these cars and whatnot, but now they're all these Americans are all panicking now how they can't get any petrol, gas they call it, for the cars, and they're all panic buying. And that happened in England.
Because people have been buying into this idea of scarcity. It's just artificial because they tell us that we're on this globe and that resources are finite, because the Earth is just kind of just a random ball. It just gotta make the most of
make the most of what you've got.
Yeah, because the Earth is just not really anything special. It's just kind of just a rock kind of flying about in space. So once it's gone, it's gone, because that's what they have us believe, which is just bogus. You get these whistleblowers in the oil industry and coal industry and all these different industries that they're telling people that it's rubbish what they're claiming, because apparently they something about how they were digging down for oil and they just found some kind of anomaly with what they were claiming.
It's like in the northwest where they started trying to do the shale fracking, trying to get natural gases out.
Yeah, I've never been for that. I was thinking to myself, well, why are they not trying to invest more in renewable resources? And kind of that was obviously my old mentality. Renewable resources as opposed to these stuff that's potentially, because they're saying it could be bad for the earth, and I suppose the whole environmentalism is another kind of trap, I'd say.
Yeah.
But I mean, this whole fracking thing though, it is screwed up though. I mean, it's like they're actually being allowed to go ahead with this, even though the vast majority of people object to it. You're getting all these signs up saying
no fracking.
No fracking. You get them all over the far coast.
There were one actually driving back from Blackpool last Tuesday, and it was quite late at night. It was sort of just going dark. It was on the M55, just past the Lancaster Canal, going on the M55 towards the M6. And there was a big container that had been put in a field
towards Garstang, right?
Yeah, and there was a big container in a field, like a what would you call it, like a lorry container, back of a lorry container, and it had on the side of it spray painted "No fracking, bastards."
Yeah.
I thought that's great. I said, "Oh yeah, they're trying to frack around here." And my wife, she's like, "What are you on about? What do you mean? What am I on about? Fracking? Well, what's that?" I was trying to explain to her about the fracking that they're trying to do for natural gas rather than drilling for oil and gas. Try to do it, and drilling it's sending fucking gas into water pipe, where your water can actually set on fire. What the fuck's that all about?
Apparently, when they were testing it, that people found all this sulfur and crap in the water.
Yeah, that sort of shit. It'll poison you though, won't it? It's gonna fucking poison you in the end of the day.
Yeah, and it might not be an immediate thing, but over time take its toll on your body, won't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and on that note, I think I'm gonna wrap it up.
Yeah, cool, man.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah, I'll chat to you again soon.
Yeah, I'll send you an email. We'll sort something out, mate.
Yeah, and just let me know if you can make it to this.
Oh, yeah. I will.
23rd, yeah, this Star Alignment Prophecy Day.
Eaton Park. Yeah.
Well, date to kind of plan to do it. Eh?
Yeah, I'll send you an email, mate.
Yeah. Did you have my address?
Yeah, I think I should do because you sent me this link, didn't you?
Yeah, true.
Yeah, I should have you. I'll have your email.
I was just thinking about if it happens to the channel, if it gets took down because of the policies and what have you. If it happens, then people can probably find me on the social media or whatever.
I can get hold of you on Twitter.
Yeah, well, do you ever use that then?
See, I'm at Lee Edwards 1980 on Twitter. That's my actual name, Lee.
And even if people don't know where to look, they can always ask people. So I don't think there's anything to really worry about. If anyone has a channel and they're worried that it's going to get took down, just create other platforms and build those up. Well, then you can kind of damage control.
I have got a backup YouTube channel, Flat Earth.
But even if you try, apparently, even if you tried creating another one, the YouTube would take it back down because if you get 3 strikes or something, you're out or something. That's what the policy.
I know there's a few YouTube channels that have been disappeared, just gone. Don't hear from them anymore. You look on what subscriptions you had, they're there, but there's just no content.
We're saying that's suspicious then.
Well, it's YouTube, isn't it? It's Google. It's all Google, isn't it? I think they don't like people talking about Flat Earth. And there's only so much you can say about it before they will strike you.
Well, when I was in the middle of a stream, the YouTube put one of them onto private, so it literally kind of the broadcast ended. Because I realised because the views started knocking down.
Yeah.
And it kind of I was like, what the hell's going on? Apparently it was because the title or tags or whatever, the description or whatever it was, that was spammy, but yeah, it was pretty much the same description that I always put in. So it seems like there's someone just trying to flag it or something, trying to get.
You see these people that are on doing these chats and they say about these snipers and say about these trolls that are all controlled and maybe employed by the higher system, that whoever behind the closed doors that are actually trolling people and actually doing this stuff to their own channels. You don't know how to take it anymore because there's so many people accusing other people of say.
Yeah, because people throughout accuse it. Oh, he's a government, but it's like I can understand that because it's like, what other purpose do they have than to be, kind of a government, kind of CIA or whatever, unless they just genuinely believe it. But
maybe
if they were really kind of had the intelligence, they would probably think, well, it's not really the best idea to snipe a hangout, is it really?
Didn't start that one on Dell earlier. I was sat watching
it's got sniped twice. One hangout.
And then the third time, I actually ended up coming back on. I went back on the third time, and he didn't stay on for that long, but he had a right good rant with Dell.
Yeah, I like seeing him when he gets animated.
Yeah, he's funny. He's funny. He
Yeah,
does
yeah, some of the stuff he comes out with, like the insults and things.
take it with a pinch of salt, which is really good of him, I think. When you watch,
Yeah, it's like, I mean, he could have gotten more wound up, I suppose, like, but I think he's just kind of, I mean, in the first few videos, you could see the rage building up, but then after a while, he kind of started to kind of calm down again, because he kind of
realize
is just like, well, you know, it's like, well, he's probably thinks to himself, well, it's my fault for, kind of showing the link anyway, so, but it's like, why is YouTube allowing this, you know?
yeah, why?
Yeah, they're allowing these trolls to kind of just comment on, like obviously on like these streams and stuff, even though they've been banned because they're using a different account. It should be, obviously your IP address, whatever. It should all be kind of banned, shouldn't it? Really, because it's just a kind of, you've been banned, then you've been banned. They don't want you there. So just because you're using a different channel, you're still the person that's behind it. So they don't want you there, and it's being disrespectful, that, isn't it? So I mean, YouTube should be trying to do something about that. And when you get these people that are false flagging, it's rubbish, isn't it? It's rubbish how YouTube treat people. They attack the innocent ones, and then they don't attack the ones who really, they seem a lot like the police to me, to YouTube. There's some guy would call it Nazi tube. So it is, isn't it?
Nazi tube, yeah.
Yeah. Then some might get into an argument whether you should call it Nazi tube or a Jew tube or whatever. And I'm like, whatever.
Tube, I like that.
And people might get into an argument whether it's all the Jews or whether it's the Nazis, whatever.
Yeah, well, I've just wrote on my calendar, 23rd of September. It's next to me now. Jerry Brown, Heaton Park, Manchester.
I thought he was going to go on about this star alignment thing.
Sorry, mate. I was just saying. I just wrote off just so I remember.
Yeah, because that's like I said, the date when it's 3 weeks from now. Well, even less than that actually. It's rolled over to Sunday now where we live. So
yeah, well, if you wanted to get off, Jamie, yeah, I'll leave you to it, mate.
I'll probably, like I said, soon I'll be packing up, but I'll keep it on in case you've got anything else to add.
I know, I'm just trying to make it up as I go along, trying to think.
Yeah, that's what usually happens, and it's like it ends up going on longer than you intend. Yeah, but I'm like, well, if it's not interesting, then I'll just kind of close out sooner. But if it gets it's like, because I don't always intend on it being, an interesting hangout or whatever, or well, they're usually interesting, but as in like some are more than others.
Yeah.
Because some get really deep into stuff. I mean, some people really get deep into stuff. Some it's not so much. Yeah.
Is there anything else that we talked about the eclipse?
Yeah, we was just talking about the sniping thing.
Oh, the sniping thing, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely fucking ridiculous, though.
But apparently some of the flat earthers obviously learned how to do it, and they
go on a Google.
So apparently that someone did it back, or just kind of did it to Tim or something. But
to Timmy Tampon.
But he's pretty kind of relentless with what he does, isn't he? With the trolling campaigns and stuff.
Oh yeah.
And obviously it's a network of people, network of trolls. I know, kind of send out a sort of dislike campaign.
They're all working together. They're all
working in cahoots kind of thing. It's like, even if they're not government, it's like they're doing what they would do.
Yeah, well, it's the same as any sort of organisation that was trying to keep any sort of movement to ground in a way. If you're trying to stop any sort of movement taking off, you would set a lot of people in there.
Yeah, I guess you could call them, instead of trolls from now on, micro conspiracists. Because they're not like, obviously the worst of the worst, but they're definitely not helping. But some may see it differently.
I always find, whenever I comment on a video, whether it be not necessarily a live chat on a stream, but a normal video that you watch, and you think, oh, that's all right, so you comment on it. And then a couple of days later, I'll have like 4 or 5 notifications saying, with Jovi and Edward, blah, 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 how can you possibly contemplate that the earth is flat, blah, 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 you're a fucking retard, blah, 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 get a life, go kill yourself, fucking, you know what I mean? It's like, what the fuck's all this? Oh, that's great. Good video. What the fuck? I'm just getting told to kill myself because I said it was a good video. You know, I could see where that person's coming from. Oh, great. You know, great video. But then some fucking idiot, which is not a normal name. It's like an alias, obviously, with a few numbers after it. You see, fine. There's like two names and a bunch of numbers after it. It'll all be trolls and it'll all just dish you and dish you and dish you. Call you a fucking retard. Go kill yourself. Have you not killed yourself? And then because you don't reply to them, Jamie, I get messages like a week later. Where are you? Where have you gone? Are you not just, you know, what the fuck?
Well, for all we know, when you see these comments, it could just be someone at a desk and someone, you know, kind of put up like a sort of image, like a thing, you know, of like a sort of government office, or they're just like, you know, doing their tasks, and that could be what they're doing. They're just kind of, they could have like an earpiece in and they're just following instructions.
Yeah, feels like that to me because the sort of
it's all the same copy and paste stuff, isn't it?
Yeah.
So they clearly have a script.
Kill yourself, retard. Go and get yourself an education. Like, hold on, I'm not American. I remember once, Jamie, this guy, he was like, "Oh, I take it you're American." It's like that. This was the reply. I take it you're American. No, I'm not actually. I live in the UK. It's all right. I take it you believe in God and all this. It's actually no, I don't actually. And then he's explain the sun and the moon. Then and I get what the fuck. It's like, what?
I suppose that's kind of valid because it's like that they have this like presupposition that it's
question after question after.
But yeah, it's like you're getting bombarded with all these questions.
And to be honest, that is one thing that does put me off about doing street activism in this area. Especially.
Yeah, because they'd be ready with all like these questions, firing them away like one after another.
I've tried it.
Like, wait a minute, let me just.
Jamie, when I was working, I've tried it. I've said to people that I work with, look, you know, I've been looking into videos on YouTube. I do believe the Earth is flat, and they actually are ridiculing me. And one of my friends, well, I am quoting in my fingers, friend, says to another of my mates, he says, "Go and ask Lee if the Earth is round." So he comes up to me and, "The Earth round?" I said, "No, it's flat." And it started laughing at me. So he started asking me a lot of questions. This particular guy, I was telling him, blah, 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 you know, this, that, the other. You know, basic, obviously, flat Earth answers why this can't be real and this can't be real on a globe. And he went away. A couple of days later, he says, this guy says to me again, "Oh, tell Lee the Earth is round. Still think flat." And then the guy that I was explaining to says, "It is flat, you dickhead. Have a look into it." And I thought that was fucking great, James. You know what I mean? This were a lad from Burnley. He was a Burnley football fan. He's like a...
So when somebody, because to me sometimes it's good. It's like any publicity is good publicity. You know, even if someone talks about it to ridicule it, it might cause someone
else to talk about it.
It kind of sparks their curiosity, so they look into it.
Well, this is it. When you talk about it in a public place like that, even with friends, and then that friend will go and tell another friend on another day, "Oh, my friend thinks that the Earth's flat." And then
and if you say like someone posts on Twitter or something, if you believe the Earth is flat, you're an idiot. So then someone's like, "What? People in 2017 that believe this," and then they look into it and they actually get convinced by it.
It's just take 5 minutes, not even 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Just look into it. Just not even 5 minutes, Jamie. You don't even have to watch a 5-minute video to know that the Earth is flat.
Yeah, just come to senses.
Your senses tell you everything, mate.
Yeah, but they have us believe that we shouldn't trust them because, and yet, obviously, optical alone isn't really enough because obviously people can tell stories about that. You have to be able to measure it and stuff because these like things where they say, "Well, yeah, you can't," because they show these like optical illusions and stuff, and how the lines appear to be slanted, but they're actually straight. But if you were to get a ruler and measure it, you'd actually, find that they are straight. So they don't really have much of a point.
No, convergence follows, and you look at the sky. The sun's going up, sun's going down. And you look at the lines in the sky, the chemtrails that they aren't putting in the sky, apparently, but they are. There's loads of chemtrails around here. See them every day. Not every day, though, actually. I'll say that. Not every day.
Yeah, sometimes they'll give you a bit of
a blue sky.
Yeah, just to like tease you or something.
Yeah, I know.
Kind of like what they used to do on Bullseye when they'd be like,
yeah.
have a look at what you could have won.
Yeah, look at what you could have had, this guy. Yep, but you could have had this guy, but we
could have had a speedboat. Didn't the guy used to work at a school in Accrington or something?
It was either a speedboat or a caravan, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think he used to work at a school in Accrington or something.
Yeah, he was from Accrington. Jim Bowen. Or was he from Blackburn?
Well, I think he worked Blackburn Radio or something, but I think he originally was from Cheshire or something. I think originally.
Yeah, I know he's from around that general area. Yeah, my missus were born in Blackburn. She lived in Accrington. She moved to Ireland for a few years, and then she moved back to Accrington. And she ended up over here in sort of like Airby, and then sort of like a few years later, I met her. But my missus was from Blackburn originally.
That's interesting.
And all this sort of cool.
So you say your missus into this at all, then?
She's not into this at all. She's, what does it matter? What does it matter, Lee? What does it matter?
So that's the only kind of answer that.
That's a lot of people that don't.
So even when they kind of concede to the proofs and all that, they still can't get over how it, what significance.
No.
And the other one is, why would they lie? That's the other one. Why would they cover it? And I've said this to my mum, and I got my brother into Flat Earth as well when I started watching videos last year. I mentioned it to my brother, and he's like, right, oh yeah, that's quite interesting. So he started watching it, and then I went a week later, and I said, have you been, watching any more videos? He said, yeah, you might be onto something now. I said, yeah, I know. I've been watching more as well. So between us, we've been watching videos, and I says to my mum, in a globe. What's it matter? Well, of course it matters. You've been lying to me, you've been lying to you, you're lying to our children. Hey, what the fuck? Of course it fucking matters. It does matter, Jamie, doesn't it? It does. If they're not telling you where we are and what is the whole point of being here on this fucking flat Earth, why it matters? They've told us it's a globe, for fuck's sake. They've told us we're spinning through space. Can't get it. Right.
That just got me that though. My own mum said, what does it matter? Of course it matters. They've been lying to us all. They've lied to everyone all these years, and they've carried on this lie. So it's got to come out at some point. Whereas they have lied to a certain extent. Whereas oh yeah, this didn't actually happen, or this didn't actually happen. We haven't actually done this, and blah blah blah. It will come all out at one point.
Yeah.
It's got to, because it can't carry on. It's like in a video, Stanley Kubrick come out, 15 years after his death, saying he had to go moon landing. He said he filmed the moon landing, whether it's genuine or not genuine. I can't prove that. We're watching a YouTube video. I can't prove it. But for everyone to say that, Stanley Kubrick filmed the original moon landings from the 60s and 70s. Now he's actually a video coming out saying he's done it. What's real and what's fake anymore? You just can't. The videos that they're coming out with a minute, and then you just can't believe what you're watching at the minute. You can't believe anything on mainstream TV, on the actual.
Yeah, when they've been proven to lie so many times, then you just got to take everything that they say with a pinch of salt.
Pinch of salt, everything. It's like all the Westminster, the Westminster Bridge attack, London attack last year, this year, that fucking so-called terrorist, and it happened in France, then it happened in Germany, where and they're all these so-called attacks and driving into everything. What the fuck? illustrating here. We are actually, it's a bigger picture.
Yeah.
I think you've got a picture. Whereas we are a reality. It's like a Big Brother sort of reality. We're all in a Big Brother house. Whereas, everything is being put on our screens for us to look at and think, oh shit, that's going on. Where it possibly couldn't be going on. It could be all augmented and just presented on a screen for you to believe that's actually happening. And for that to go on, and technology that we've got now, what's stopping them from actually doing that now? Even on YouTube, they're actually putting these videos on YouTube now because they're thinking, people don't watch TV anymore, so we'll just put these illustrated videos on YouTube for people to watch that aren't real, make them think they're real. That's what because it couldn't all be made up, and anything can be CGI'd onto a fucking screen. Anything could be. I watched a video saying about where you can FaceTime someone and make them look like it's you talking, but it's them talking. It's crazy what they actually can do with technology now. Make you look like you're watching a mainstream news video on BBC News, for example. Fucking idiot sat in a studio, wording his mouth, wording his stuff, talking like him. It could look like him, talking as him in a false news streamer, for example. Been hit by a fucking asteroid and blah blah blah, but it hasn't even actually happened. Could all be fucking. It can. I've seen the technology we've got nowadays to actually do all this. They can actually do it. And that's what puts me off about watching mainstream news, BBC News, ITV News, Channel 4 News, any news channel. Fucking American.
It's all just kind of fabrication.
American news channels, Fox News, CNN, whoever. Right, news channel creating sort of like fake news, and it's all green screened nowadays. Reporting on a fucking green screen. Wait a minute, it's been proved as well that reporting on green screen. A lot of them. Wait a minute, you don't know what to believe anymore.
Yeah, well, yeah. So I'm going to be wrapping up now. So, but yeah, it's been good chatting. Doing it again next week, maybe during the week, but yeah, definitely on Saturday again. Just as usual after Dell.
After Dell, yeah.
Yeah.
How many's viewing actually at the minute?
26.
Oh, got a few.
Yeah, there would have been more if it was the main channel, though. That's the only thing. But
yeah,
it's a strike situation, isn't it?
Right, this is it. Why the fuck do you get striked? You put a certain comment on a certain video and someone doesn't like it. Gone.
Well, yeah, that's it. But, just got to keep fighting on. And, cheers for coming on again. It's been good chatting with you again.
I'll send you an email.
Yeah, do that, yeah.
Eaton Park.
Yeah, and if you want to obviously meet up with me in Burnley or something like that, then let me know about that as well.
I will do, mate.
So I'm definitely up for that.
Yeah, we've got a couple of weeks between Eaton Park, so
yeah,
right,
we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, cheers.
Nice one. See you later.
Bye. Cheers, everybody. I'll chat to you guys again soon. Take it easy.